bloom in spring. Tell me who gives the air that you breathe. Ooh. Everything that you need he will provide, so you may as well come on and give him a try. 'Cause he's awesome. Ooh, he's awesome. He's awesome. What would I do without him? Couldn't make a move without him. I don't wanna be without him. He's awesome.
What's up, ladies? Welcome to ZMR Ministries. I'm Pastor Z, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Girl Talk. It's Friday night, so you know it's all about the ladies. And tonight's episode, it's called One Time for the Baby Mama. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the negative stigma, that comes with being called a baby mama, as well as the successes and failures of being a single mother. Now, I'm not a mommy yet, but I am sitting here with my girls, my friends, family, who are mommies, and they are ready to talk. So y'all help me welcome my guests, Keisha, Bridget, Dee, and it's me. Now, I'm gonna be kind of quiet on this episode because I can't relate. So I'm gonna ask questions, and then, if they get a little heated, I'm gonna say it ain't personal, you know what I mean? So, baby mamas, look at that. So let's talk about the stigma or the negativity that you feel, the pain, or whatever it is that you feel with being called a baby mama. What does baby mama mean to you?
I don't like it. I don't know. It's just, you're single. You had a baby out of wedlock.
Right.
Like, it's just, you're a statistic. Like that, it just, I don't know why it's negative for me, but it just, every time I hear it, it's like, you failed. That's how I feel. Like, you didn't even get married. Like, you out here by yourself.
Right.
Baby mama. Like, it's just, it's such a negative term to me. And when I got pregnant, Fantasia's song had just came out, and I cried. I was like, I never wanted to be a baby mama. Because my mom, had me when she was young, and she wasn't married. My grandmother wasn't married. And I just was like, man, this is just a generational curse. Yeah. And so it was just something that I never wanted for myself. And so when it happened, I was like, man, I don't even call myself baby mama.
Yeah.
I do not. I am my child's mother.
Right. Bridget?
It's very negative to me. I don't let anybody call me a baby mama because I feel like I was saying prior to, it just relates back to that song. That's just my baby mama.
Who that is?
Everything T-Bird was just my baby. That was the whole thing. It was just kind of like, to me, from the songs and from the music, a baby mama wasn't somebody you was in a relationship with. It's just somebody you had a baby with.
Right.
Now I had a baby with her, and then that's just my baby mama. Right. Not the fact I was in a relationship for 10 years and had a daughter, with a person who I was in love with. And now it's just kind of like, there isn't anything positive, about being called a baby mama, in my eyesight. And that's the main thing where I even tell like her daddy or somebody else, I'm calling no baby mama. You can say Alana's mama, you can say Bridget, you ain't even got to say my name, but don't call me no baby mama.
Yes, ma'am.
I told y'all I'm quiet. I'm scared.
Well, it doesn't really bother me. I've never been called that. I'm sure my ex has called me that before, but child. It's so irrelevant. I'm like, child.
Whatever. Time to go.
Was that Fantasia too? As long as it's over?
Yeah, that was
Is it like, okay, it don't matter.
But I think there's a lot of negative energy that comes with it because of the songs that we put out. But
you know what? And I'm glad you said it because I was gonna ask. Where did it derive from? I think it's cultural in my opinion.
Right.
But what made it so negative? You know, because I hear people joke, I hear even friends joke and say that's baby mama right there, you know, and it's like they laugh, and I think it's funny.
Right.
But I know guys who have referred to their child's mother as their baby mama, but they didn't mean it in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just like, I'm like, oh, who is that? You know, bro, oh, that's my baby mama.
Baby mama.
You know what I mean? And I think sometimes, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate now. Y'all don't get on me. I think sometimes the bitterness that comes with being a single mother, especially when you're doing it on your own, it's like I'm doing so much. Respect who I am, a mother, not just a baby mama. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes mothers, ooh, y'all making me scared. Mothers adopt, you know, the negative connotation that comes with it. And don't separate it from, maybe they're not using it as derogatory towards me. Maybe I'm taking it that way because I know culturally what it means. And not only that, I see myself as a mother, and that's how I want to be, you know, respected. That's how I want to be approached, and that's what you would call me.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So,
But I love that.
I say yes, but I love that.
yeah, so where do you believe it derived from, and why is it that you receive it as something negative?
Because when you hear baby mom, you hear baby mama drama.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
I always hear baby mama drama.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not what I'm about.
Right.
And so to me, every time you hear baby mama, the drama part comes after it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not about that drama.
Exactly.
Is it just a mental thing though?
It could be.
Uh-huh.
It could be because
Uh-huh.
in my eyes, like I said, I never wanted to be that because a baby mommy is someone that's not married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I never wanted to be, I never wanted to have a baby out of wedlock. I never wanted that. So to me, that was like one of my goals for myself. I failed in that
Mm-hmm.
because I did have a baby and I wasn't married. So
Right.
it could be just me, but I had to forgive myself and move on past that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I just thought. I was like, man, I failed.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying. Like I was 28 years old. I'm like, I'm old. I know better. And so, you know, I just was like, to me, I'm like, this young girls, they baby mama, but I'm a grown woman now.
Right.
And I have a child, and I'm
Mhm.
not married.
Mhm.
And I was with his father for years,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, you know, nothing happened.
Right.
And then when we broke up, you pregnant?
Pregnant.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, Jesus. But yeah, it could be my own hang up.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I did not want that for myself because
Yeah.
I know being looked at as a baby. Because again, my mom had me when she was young,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a baby mama, and she kind of, you know, she's young. She, you know, baby mama. I mean, she went through all of that, and I was like, that's not me.
That ain't me.
That is not
Ooh,
gonna
I
be
got
me.
a good question,
You
but I'm
know,
gonna wait till y'all answer.
But yeah, that's, you know how you grew up. That's not gonna be me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and so baby mama, I was like, it fits me. That's what I am, but I
Mhm.
don't like it.
Yeah. Bridget,
I think it is for me, you know, personal.
you know what I just noticed? I'm sorry. Bridget, your initials are BM.
My middle name is, but
her
it's
name is Bridget Michelle, so technically you really are a BM.
for Michelle.
No,
B-M-E. Yes, it is BMB. So, but yeah, I think it is something personal for me as well because it was even a thought for me too. We were high school sweethearts, you know, everything all the way through. I had already made it up in my head. Like, okay, we're gonna get married. This is what's gonna happen. You know, everything else. So when it did not turn out like that, it was like the shock, like, oh my gosh, I'm a statistic.
Yeah.
And I would say that all the time, I'm a statistic. I'm another
Yes.
statistic.
Yes.
What am I gonna do? And then I came from a family where it was kind of like, well, what you gonna do? You know, yeah, you a statistic now. It's over. You know, and it's just kind of like, well, what am I gonna do? It's not me. You know, everything else, and trying to get myself together. And I know as much work, like I said, as I put in as being a single mother, I was like, from hearing all the things, that baby mama drama, this and everything else, and I was like, but I'm not about that drama.
Right.
You know, all I want to do is make sure I'm working and my baby has everything that she needs.
Right.
And as long as my baby's okay, then I'm not about that drama.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole, you know, aspect of it. So for me, because of it is cultural, you know, you go back to it and you got from Dave Hollister, that baby mama drama. You know, that was the whole song.
Yeah.
You know, and everything else to where I'm just like, I don't identify with that.
Right.
So please don't call me that. And then even though too, the amount of work that I put into the relationship, to me, the definition of a baby mama was just somebody that you did something with and you got a break. So that was just my thought on it, why I don't like being called, you know, baby mama.
All right, baby mama number 3.
Let me quit. Like you were saying, it's a cultural thing because it's like a lot of people are like just kind of intertwining with each other and having kids, and then it starts out as a relationship. You know, y'all in love or y'all like each other, and then you know when this baby comes, most times if you're not married, you go separate ways, and it's like, okay, well, we're not together anymore, so you've been reduced down to a baby mama. Like, yeah, that's what you are now.
That's
right.
And it's almost like, especially when that person's moved on to another person, like they have to identify you as a baby mama,
Right.
instead of my ex or my
child's
child's
mother.
mother. But it's like I have to put this bounty over your head to make you know that you're less than this what I have now.
Yeah.
So I can make this secure because
Ooh,
I have
that's good.
this permanent connection with you because of the child.
Right.
So that's my way of subtly disrespecting you.
Wow.
That's good.
You know, by saying that to you.
That's so
Because we've had a past history, of course they're gonna be like, you know, insecurities,
That's
but
right.
also like, you know, they're gonna be like, you know, you're not gonna see eye to eye on raising this child because there's a lot of emotions involved and a history, and then now you're building something with this other person. So when you know, try to talk it out or try to have a relationship with this person for the child, it's being perceived as, oh, you're drama now.
Right.
Because he really, or one of the two don't want to really actually be engaged in the conversation or what the problem really is when it comes to the child. So it's like, oh, you come with that baby mama drama.
Right.
And it's like, well, no, I just want to talk to you about my child or what's
Our
best for
child.
our child.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of men especially try to avoid that line of communication and then just label it baby mama drama because they don't want to deal with it.
Girl, Dee was talking and I got affected. I
Yeah.
forgot I wasn't no baby. Look, I forgot I wasn't no
That's
baby
real.
mama. I was
Yeah.
like, ouch, hold up, don't need you, hold up. What you
But
mean
that's so
don't
true.
understand?
Yeah.
You know, I done took on y'all burdens.
See,
No, quit joking around. Where Ginger at? But no, I do want to ask the question, do you believe that you adopted the negative connotation that comes? Why did he look at me like that? I'm just the host tonight, okay? Don't y'all jump on me. I feel some eye rolls in the spirit. Yeah, we just did an episode now by Angle. Don't test my game. No, I'm just playing. But no, look, I'm stuttering. Y'all praying? I need the intercessors. Do y'all believe that you adopted the negative connotation that came with it because previously, before you were considered a baby mama, did you pass the same judgment? Because what I'm listening to you guys say is, you know, me being considered a baby mama is like, oh, you just had a baby with somebody, or you just did this, or you just did that. So now it's like, because that's your perception, lets me know that's how you viewed other women who had babies out of wedlock with guys. And it's almost like, are you placing that judgment on yourself because you judged others? And here's part 2 that I want y'all to answer. Do you believe it comes with the fact that, because I know all of you are upstanding women, and honestly, the least of the people you thought would get pregnant out of wedlock, you know, that had, because I'm telling y'all, first of all, Keisha didn't know she was pregnant since she was about 14 months. I was like, bruh, come on now, like, seriously? me finding out she was pregnant, I was like, what? You know, it's unexpected. But Didi, by the time me and Didi came friends, Adolphus was like barely 2. And so it was like, you know, once I got to know her, I put her in the same category as you guys. It's one of those things where you like, are you pregnant?
Yeah.
And so do you think the expectation that comes along with someone of your character failed the stigma that everybody else put on you because more was required of you? Do you get what I'm saying? Does everybody understand the question? Because I know that was a lot.
It was not.
So the first question I want you to address is, do you believe you put that judgment on yourself because you passed judgment to other women who you considered a baby mama? And number 2, do you believe that the negative connotation comes with, you know, the fact that you had such high expectations from other people because you were such an upstanding woman that now you see it as negative because they see your pregnancy out of wedlock as a failure?
Let me answer the second part. I looked at myself as a failure because, like I said, I was 27 when I got pregnant. I was in church, Christian woman, and my son's father and I, we had recently broken up.
Right.
But you know, you go back for that one last time.
You know,
Well, that
one last time.
One last time.
Yeah.
I got caught. And so that within itself is like, man, had I not,
Right.
you know, so I put that judgment on myself. I really did because I kept telling myself, you know better.
Right.
You know better. And what hurt me, I was on birth control. That's why I didn't know I was pregnant because I was literally on birth control and I had my cycle.
Right.
You know, so I just didn't know, and so it caught me off guard, and that was just something. And then I knew I didn't want to have a baby with him. All the times we were dating, he wanted me, you know, have my baby. No, because I knew it was toxic. The relationship was toxic before, like them strongholds. I knew I should have let go, but I didn't. So I already knew in my mind, this is not somebody that I want to have a child with.
Right.
So when I got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, like what have you done? You know, and so I put that on myself. And then the first question, I never honestly looked at women in a negative way when it came to them having a baby out of wedlock. I just didn't.
Right.
I don't even think I used the term baby mama. My son's father had 2 kids with another lady. And when I first heard him going off on her, he was like, well, that's just my baby. Like, we got into it over it. I was like, you don't talk about her in front of me like that. I had never met her, but I thought that was just so disrespectful. And he was like, but she and this mom. I was like, I don't care. You don't disrespect her in front of me. And it's so funny, I could talk about, you know, talk over her, but then when it happened to me, I'm like, but no, I just did not like him talking about her. And he was like, well, you don't know, I don't need to know. That's another woman. That woman had your child.
And see, that's maturity. Because, you know, you could be with a woman, fellas, that's just like, you know, what's the word? Like cheering that on, like, yes, you know, put her in her place. And that's insecurity. That's insecurity. Because the thing about it is, you don't have to be his baby mama for him to disrespect you. And if he's disrespecting another woman, he's gonna disrespect you.
And
he
did.
Yeah, the same thing.
Yeah, and so I know, but I never put her down. It seemed like every guy I dated, only one guy I dated, and his, you know, mom, the child's mother, she came at me. And even when she came at me, well, she came at him, but it was about me, and I was in the house holding her baby, and she was like, "You got that, you know, blah 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 blah, holding my baby." And I was just like, "Baby, I'm holding your baby." You know what I'm saying? How you gonna talk noise and I'm holding your baby?
Caring for it.
Listen. You know, and so, and I was young then, and
I'm scratching the inside of my finger. I was like,
she didn't come in. No, she did that outside.
Outside.
But I could hear them. You know, but I still never disrespect her. I just told him, make sure she don't come for me.
Right.
You know, as long as she talking to you about me, I'm fine.
She's doing it the right way.
She's doing it the right way. I
Yeah.
mean, she want, you know, she talking loud, but it still didn't offend me because you don't know me. But I still never disrespected her because again, you a woman that have a child, so I know you probably still those open wounds, those feelings. So I'm not. I understand.
Yeah.
So I've never been the one to downgrade another woman to put her down. So I never used the term baby mama ever. I just to me, especially not in a negative way.
Yeah.
But I put that stigma on myself because I was disappointed in myself.
Yeah. Bridget.
For me, no. As in past and judgment, I got pregnant, maybe 3-4 months after graduating from college. So, I mean, I was still in that college life, college mentality, the club, you know, everything else. So it was there. So I didn't see anything in a sense in saying wrong with it, you know, but I knew the standards I had set for myself.
Yeah.
And we were together. We weren't married, but we were together. So in my mind, it was like, well, we just kind of went backwards, but we're gonna get married. The baby just came first, and then it was like, no, you're not getting married. It's all over and done. You know, so it was like the world crashed. Everything was just like, oh my gosh, it's a whole, now I'm just another stigma. And you know, everything else, like everything was just, what I had planned was not the plan.
Right.
You know, so it was completely not what I thought was going to happen, and then it was dealing with that. So I think a majority of it is this is what I put on myself because of everything. You know, again, it goes back to the culture of what you heard. This is what a baby mama is. But even on top of that too, I knew I didn't identify with what that term was and what has been out, because the whole entire time, though I was hurt, they didn't have to worry about me calling when he was with other girls. The other girls had my number. I didn't care, and I really did put it out there. As long as my child is okay, you will never hear from me. And please respect the same thing. You know, don't call me. I'm not calling you. I'm not asking about anything that y'all have going on, but just make sure my daughter's okay. And as long as she's okay, you don't have to worry about me.
Period.
Like so a lot of it was, like I say, that was just something I put on myself because, again, like Keisha said, I judge no woman, you know, in regards to that, because I had a kid outside of marriage. So, you know, it's like I'm not going to turn around and look at you and say, I can't believe you did that, because yeah.
DeAndrea?
So I didn't judge other women because when I was in high school, some of my friends were pregnant. And then my mom had me and my siblings, I believe me and my sister. She wasn't married either. So I didn't label anyone that. And I never really looked at the term as like a negative, but I didn't like it. But it didn't like bother me. It still don't bother me because I don't know, I think it just comes down to perspective, how you look at things and how you perceive them.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And how you interpret them.
right,
Yeah.
But I know what the negative connotation that comes with it, what's behind it, and why it's perceived so negatively, and none of that's me. So, you know, it's like if someone called you, you know, a female dog, you know that's not you. So, and it's most times to get a reaction out of you. So I don't really, now, that doesn't bother me no more. I just laugh at it.
So to you, it's mostly about, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, there was a point in my life where I was immature and I had like feelings about the breakup and not my expectations not being met, and you know, of course, I didn't want to be you know, have a child with a man that I'm not with. But before I accepted it, you know, this is what it is now. You know, I made this mistake and I have to live with being a single parent right now. That will bother me, but it doesn't bother me now anymore.
Right.
So like I have a different perspective about it, you know. So I guess I can't really answer the question now like I would have answered it when I thought of it being like a negative or being called that. Because I remember one time he said, "Yeah, you act like a baby mama now." I just started laughing. Okay. How about you?
Whatever you say.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. But it was more so like to make home feel secure.
Yeah.
You know.
That's true.
Yeah, I almost got choked. I think I did get choked. But I do want to ask, do you think it's a double standard? Excuse me. It ain't roll. I got strangled. Do you believe it's a double standard? You know, when it comes to being called a baby mama versus saying, that's just my baby daddy. Do you think men have a negative connotation when they're being called a baby daddy? Because some people look at, I've had a homeboy where he felt some type of way because to him, To him, he was like, I look like the dude in the hood that's sagging with the braids and got a 40 in his hand, you know, like, you know, I just let me see my baby. And he was like, no, I'm that child's father.
That's good.
And I was like, I mean, I get that, you know, and he was just like, nah, she was, you know, it was, they had a relationship, they were young, you know, it was kind of like your taste buds were different at a young age, and now he's matured, he's more established, and things of that nature, and it's like, whenever she says, that's my baby daddy, you know, he was like, it's cringe, he cringed, but then, you know, some dudes are just like, I mean, that's baby mama right there, you know. I'm her baby daddy, you know, that's it. And so do you believe it's a double standard?
I don't know. I don't say baby daddy. I'm like, that's my son's father. That's Christian's dad.
Right.
You know, I just, even when I talk about him, I'm like, you know, Christian's dad. I don't say baby dad because I don't even want that.
What if they say baby mother? Would that be different?
Honestly, I don't know what people say. Again, it's what I said to myself. I don't know what people. My son father doesn't. I don't know what he addresses me by because we don't talk.
Right.
So I don't know. I honestly.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not right or wrong answer.
I honestly don't know because I don't know what people call me when they're talking to him and he's talking, you know, to someone about me. Like I said, it's always been personal.
Right.
For me. I honestly don't know if I've heard anybody say baby mama. I honestly don't know. And probably because the way I say it, you know, I'm Christian's mother.
Right.
That's Christian's father.
Yeah.
I've never, had I been walking around saying, oh yeah, this is my baby daddy, then they probably like, oh, okay, baby mom, you know, because I don't say that. I think people address me as, you know, that's Christian's mother, or, you know.
Right.
I mean, I personally haven't had anyone call me that.
Yeah. Do you think it's a double standard?
Again, I think it goes back to preference. For some people, they don't care. You know, if they call a baby mama or a baby daddy. And to some people, it's a term of endearment. So, you know, you hear some people say, you know, that's my baby daddy. You know, everything else, and it's a sweet thing to them. And I just think it's all depends on their perception, you know, their take from it, you know, and everything else. And even though they may not even be together anymore, they still have a love for each other. And they still say, you know, that's baby mama. I don't care where I go, that's still baby mama. You know, everything else. And to them, they embrace that. Which is why I don't really see anything wrong when other people embrace that term. Just for me, it's not something that I identify with.
Yeah.
So I mean, there was one time that daddy did try that. And I remember that conversation. I just cut it real quick because I signed on to go. I said, hey, hold on. I don't care how you introduced me because we were on the phone and he was he did not know because we were newly, I guess in a sense, not together. And he didn't know what to say. So he was just like, that's my baby mama. I said, wait, hold on. No, you can call me Bridget. You can call me Alana's mom. I said, you don't even have to call me and say, that's my friend who has my daughter. I said, I don't know. But don't call me the baby mama. I said, because I'm not. I said, as a matter of fact, if you want me to introduce myself to him, I can't. Hi, I'm Bridget. You know, because I wanted him to know right then, you don't get to address me like that. You know, and I say Alana's father, Alana daddy. You know, everything else or by his name. Because I know I don't like being addressed with that. But I don't see if that's something that you embrace or that you identify with and you don't see anything wrong with it, that's on you. That's how you feel. And I don't see anything wrong with that because it's your preference.
That's good. Look, it's hard for me to stay silent. I'm going to stay silent.
Yeah, she's struggling. Because I know.
Like, I can tell you what I call it. Amen.
A child of God.
A child of God.
Yes, amen.
Oh, bless his heart.
Amen.
Lions won't tear him.
When you say baby mama, baby daddy, like to everybody it means something different.
Right.
Because you have some people who have a child together, they're not together, and that's what they say. That's my baby daddy, my baby mama, and nobody gets offended.
Right.
That's just what I'm his baby mama. I'm her baby daddy, you know. And then for other people who I guess have like a higher standard for themselves or want
That's
to
it.
be, you know, it's offensive to you. So I have in my head what a baby mama is or a baby daddy is, but it may not be the same thing for someone else.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who that person is and how you guys' relationship is after the breakup.
Yeah.
Cause my baby daddy is a baby daddy.
Did my ghost leave my body just now?
But you know, he said I'm a baby mama, but I'm just like, I don't try to ruin your happiness.
Right.
You know, I don't cause unnecessary drama for you. But you know, you're gonna take care of your child.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure that legally.
Yeah.
And it makes me a baby mama, okay. I'll be
Right. Y'all, it's a lot of restraint on this panel tonight. You hear me?
But you know what's funny is that I hear more and more married couples calling me.
They do.
They do.
And I'm like, what are y'all?
And you know what? They
do?
do. They do.
That's so funny, but they wouldn't if they weren't married. That's
True.
So, you know,
That's true.
But you don't know that, Keisha.
They might not. You know,
I mean,
they still.
I told
use
you
that.
I'm the host today. But I'm just saying.
I think it will go from hey baby daddy, hey mama, that's my baby mama. You know, versus the whole term.
But
But
it
again, the
goes
word
back to like your relationship and where you're from.
That's it.
Because like I said, I have friends like that's baby daddy, and that's
It
baby
is
mama, and
good.
that's just
Yeah.
that's all they know. Like baby's mother, my child's mom.
Right.
What?
Like, what are you talking about?
What is that? What?
But it's so funny because now that I'm not married, but I can't see myself being married and I have a child on my husband. I'm like, that's my baby.
You know what? I think it's generational though.
Yeah.
And I say that because it reminds me, I remember a conversation where my dad was talking about a situation with my mom and somebody she was dating at the time, and they were mistreating her. And, you know, he addressed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and some people were just kind of like, you know, y'all not together no more. And he was like, no, I don't care if we're not together. That's my baby mama.
Yeah.
And he didn't say like baby mama. He was saying that's my baby child.
Yeah.
He's calling me his baby.
Right.
And that's her mama.
Right.
And so he was like, I'm not gonna let nobody talk to her crazy or, you know, be abusive towards her. That's my baby's mama.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
It's power.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. It's generational because honestly, we don't hear nobody over 40 talking about no baby mama. And if we do, we like, bro, you need to stop. It's almost like somebody 40 and sagging. Like seriously, it has to stop. Okay, but you know, that's why I said I think it's generational. But just to shift because it seems like, you know, it's been like pew 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 pew, baby mama, be 'em, and not bowel movement, but you know, but it's and baby daddies and things like that. But I also want to talk about the successes and failures of being a single mother. You know, because it's a lot that comes with it. And I know that just hearing your stories and other, you know, people's stories, other women's stories who had children out of wedlock, or they had a child in a marriage that resulted in divorce, and now, you know, they are considered a baby mama or whatever the case may be. You know, one thing that I can say is I always hear they helped me grow up. They taught me a lot about myself. You know, I learned how to feel in a different way. I've never loved like this before. I deal with pain a lot differently. You know, everything I do now, I have my child in mind because it's like I don't want them to repeat this step. I don't want to introduce them to this. I don't want to show them this, you know, this negative behavior. So there are some ups and downs and roller coasters to being a single mother. And so I want to talk about your expectations. Like once it dawned on you, you know, I'm single and I have a child. Not a baby mama, but I am by myself and I have a child now. What was your expectation?
Giving my child everything I didn't have. Like I mean, seriously, I gave to the point where I was exhausted because I was trying to overcompensate.
Right.
Not being there, and then trying to overcompensate for what I didn't have in a mother.
But is that what you expected it to be? Like once you accepted it in your head, what was your expectation of motherhood, and what that looked like as a single woman with a kid?
Honestly, I don't even think I got that far. Like it got to be where it was like a day when I was in it.
Right.
Because again, I was raised with a mother that was very hands off. You know, very hands off,
Right.
not affectionate, not loving, and so I really didn't know what that looked like.
Right.
My prayer was, God, I don't want to be my mother. You know, I didn't want to be that mother, and something that I'm still praying against now because it's still embedded in me. A lot of traits that I didn't have, right? So I'm still fighting not to be like that. But I just really didn't have expectation because I was still shocked. I knew a baby's growing, my baby's here,
Right.
but I didn't know what that meant to have a baby. You know, like I said, I was 28 years old. My little cousin, she was, you know, I didn't have a baby around for
Right.
years.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
a boy, I was raised with all females.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I was raised with all females, so
All women.
God, where is this boy coming from? What do I do with a son? Like I literally had to pray constantly, God, I don't want to mess him up. 'Cause I honestly don't know what to do with a son.
Right.
But it was hard. Mentally, emotionally, it was hard. And I hear women saying they went through postpartum. And I'm thinking, I'm sure I did, but I just didn't have anyone to break on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I wanted to break down, but I didn't have anyone to help me or him. So it was just like, suck it up and keep it moving.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I loved being pregnant. Once I came to peace, we wasn't getting back together. I loved being pregnant. But once baby was here, like, I didn't realize, like, I wasn't sleeping. I was trying to be super mom and didn't even know what super mom was. Like, I just was like, okay, is he breathing? He's alive. Okay, watch these bottles, clean this. Like, I was a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was exhausted. And so I didn't have any help. None. You know, to the point where, thank God, my friend and her mom came to save me. They helped me. But I was doing this all by myself. And my mom was in the house. So that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
grandmother 5 minutes away
Yeah.
kind of thing, you know. But this is me and my son, and we're doing it on our own. And so it was hard. So my mind, to answer your question, it was a day by day. Okay, I made it today. Let me try to do this again. You know, without breaking up, breaking down, without giving up. Okay, let's do this again. So it was a day by day learning experience because I was dealing with so many emotions. You know, you never think you're gonna be single,
Right.
a child, now you're a mother, but you're raising this child by yourself. Like that was hard for me.
Right.
So that's my new normal.
Sorry, guys. My lash flew.
Oh jeez.
Sorry. I didn't know if that was distracting, but go ahead, Bridget.
For me, I don't really have an expectation or had an expectation on what I thought it was gonna look like. Now, I had someone to help push me, to realize that what I thought was happening was not gonna happen.
Well,
So I got stuck. So it was at a point where I was just in denial.
Yes.
It was just like, I don't know what's going on.
With my family.
My family this, my family this, my family this. And then somebody whose name goes with Anya sat there one day. I remember we was on the phone, I believe. That girl said, you don't have a family. she was like, yeah, period. What you thought was your family, you don't have it. It's over. It's just you and your kid. That's where you at right now. And then my conversation went, let me call you back.
y'all, she didn't talk to me for like a month.
Wow.
No, I'm dead serious because sometimes I know I said I'm just host tonight, but sometimes it takes a real friend.
Yeah.
And I had to let her know this idea of a family that you have. I don't care if y'all was even together.
Wow.
Y'all ain't married. That ain't no family. Y'all were in a relationship and y'all had a baby. Then y'all may consider each other family because y'all been together so long and now we got this baby now. And she was just like, I want my family back. What family back? It was you never had that unit. Throw that idea away. You're by yourself and you're a single mom. Alana is your family. Period. Yeah. And he's her family. Period. You need to get that out of your head. Yeah. And she didn't talk to me. Yeah. She didn't answer my calls. Mm-hmm. She didn't answer my text messages. Wow. She didn't respond, and I was like, "You'll get over it." Yeah. And eventually, she called me back, and she was like, "I think I'm ready to talk to you now." But that's what she said.
This is true, but that is, going back at that point in time, I couldn't take it. Since it hurt. It hurt to hear it, but I needed to hear that. And that was the truth because I was stuck. And and I can tell you 2 events that made me. That was one of them. Now I'll say 3. It was another. I was just sitting there crying, boo-hooing. And even though you think that your child doesn't understand you, the girl was 1. She can't really talk, anything else like that. But I'm sitting on the couch crying, thinking she doesn't understand. She comes over to me and brings me her toys and just says, sitting there, I was like, dang. She gets it. Everything else, I was like, you gotta pull yourself together. Your kid feels you finna mess her up. Right. So, that was the main thing. And I was like, okay, I gotta get together. And then I was driving. And it wasn't too long right after Zanya said those hurtful statements that weren't really hurtful. Later on, but at the time they hurt. Right. But, it was like after that, I was listening to like the Sunday Word or something, and something came on and it says, whenever there's a shipwreck, if you just concentrate and you look at all the pieces of the ship that wrecked and crashed and you panic, you're going to drown. Wow. But if you actually take your time and look and know that there's always pieces of a ship that float, and if you grab onto those floating pieces long enough, help is going to come. And I sat there and I said, Bridget, your kid, she's sitting here floating. You got to hang on because if not, you're going to die and then who's going to be here to help us? Seriously. So it was like, Bridget, wake up. Yeah. So I had to tell myself and I had to deal with myself and say, okay, at the end of the day, you wasn't ever married. So what made you think I was about to get married? Did you really want to be married? It's a lot of things that I had to search within myself. And say, okay, keep it real with yourself. Come on, wake up, let's go and let's move. Because what she said is true. Yeah. You don't have no family, it's you and your kids.
No lies.
Sometimes she do. Okay. But the thing is, it was like, okay, now Bridget, what are you going to do? Yeah. And it was working 2 jobs and working on a master's. And at the same time, taking care of my kid. Yeah. So I had to better myself and keep pushing forward because I couldn't sit here and keep thinking about what coulda, what shoulda, what anything else because that ain't what's happening right now. So now you have to move forward and do better. And it was sitting here thinking, I boo-hoo cried to her. Oh, my child's not gonna remember me. She gonna hate me for this, everything else. And she will remind me, she can't remember this no way by the time she get old enough.
She don't even remember them 5 minutes ago. Her attention span is that quick.
Yes. And I felt guilty, and it goes back to as well, because I came from a family, my mom was just like, you had a child out of wedlock. What are you going to do? Anything else like that. But I had to move back in and stay with my mom. Mm-hmm. And it was her having to watch her when I was working those few days. But when I was not working, I had her with me the whole time. So she went everywhere with me. When I wasn't working, I was worn out. And I'm blessed to have had a boss that knew what I was going through because I was working from 8 to 4 and then from 4:45 to 11 o'clock at night I was valeting cars and cashiering. Right. And then from 10 to 11 at night when it was my last shift, they let me go to the cashier's booth to work on my homework. Wow. And then I would go home, try and finish my homework, go to sleep and get right back up at 6 so I could take her to school. Was there, and it was a cycle that was there, and I just never thought I could make it. And looking at it now, it didn't do anything but make me better, make me stronger. And I used to just sit there and ask God, why? What I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you punishing me? Really and truly, I realized He was saving me.
Yeah,
He was saving me from bad decisions that I would have made. And at the same time, too, now I can talk to somebody else because I've been where you at.
Yeah.
And looking where I am now, I can say you can make it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that where I was at, which was in that relationship, I didn't want to be there no more.
Mm-hmm.
And I left that relationship and went into the unknown with my son was, I believe, 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I didn't want to be there no more. I feel like whatever is on the other side of the unknown, it got to be better than this. And so I became a single parent by choice. Of course, we wasn't married, we were still together.
Right.
But I decided to leave on my own. So I made that choice to be a single parent. And I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I didn't want to be my mother. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think for a long time, I was striving to not be her so hard that I struggled
Yes.
in the process because I didn't have the means
Yeah.
to
Oh yeah.
afford what I was trying to give to my son. That I was drowning in like financial debt and stress
Yeah.
and a lot of stuff that a single parent shouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the time it was necessary, but there was a lot of immaturity. But I knew I didn't want to be my mom. I didn't want to live like I lived as a child. I want my son to live like I lived as a child in the places we lived. I wanted to give him what I didn't have.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't expect to be. I knew I was a single parent, but I didn't expect to take care of him by myself.
Yeah.
Because of the person that I had a child with. He came from a 2-parent home. They were overall like typical American family.
Oh wow.
They had college degrees and good jobs in the house.
Churchgoers.
Yeah, so I didn't expect to be raising a child by myself.
Wow. That's so true.
So that was a big shocker for me. And he never stepped up. So that was something I didn't expect. So, and I don't think I had any expectations. I knew that I didn't want to be a single parent, but that's what it was. So I rocked it out.
Yeah.
The highs and the lows, my baby was right there with me.
Yeah.
And he was like my angel because
Yes. That's what
he would always have something to say to me that would just, I couldn't believe he would say as a child.
Yeah.
I knew it was God speaking to me. That was what kept me going
Yeah.
during the hard times that we had. Like we had some hard times, like hard, some lows together.
Wow.
And through it all, my baby was there with me. And stuff that we went through that I didn't expect, he covered me.
Yeah, he did.
And my baby covered me.
Yeah, he did.
As a small child,
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
things that other children would have told or
And folded.
he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
And to this day, we talk about it and we laugh and I like get teared up and everything. But my son, he is truly an angel from God. And I think that I believe and I know that God gave me that child because I feel like I was cursed, for a long time for having a child with this man. But like I couldn't ask for a better son, So
My palms getting sweaty, girl. Whew, my lash glue already turned me up. I'm like, baby, I can't take no liquid on that. This lash gonna come off. But that really touched my heart because, just watching you ladies' journey, it has been times of crying together, laughing together, roaring together, you know what I'm saying? Like, you mad, I'm mad, and if you ain't mad, I'm still mad. Like, Zanya, you need to come up now. Right. It's not for the betterment of the situation. Right. I'm like, hold up, though, boo, And it touches my heart with Dee Dee. First of all, Dee Dee's son has always been an old man. He still is an old man. Seriously, even as a young child, he was an old man. And so now that he's a teenager, it's so funny. I speak to him and I'm like, hey, Adolphus, hey, baby. How you doing, Zion? Where you been? It's been a while since we spoken
Oh, wow.
to you. First of all, who are you? I mean, why are you talking like you're 80? But you know, God always provides you with what you need in those children. And he knew what each one of you all needed.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was like it was done out of order,
Yeah.
it was done, you know, in a mistake. You felt like you was cursed. You felt like a failure.
Yeah.
You felt like, where do I go from here? You know, all of the things that come with it. But when you really look at who your child is, it's like that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
You know. So before we close out, I just want each of you ladies to give a success, or you know, talk about what successes and failures you have faced as a single mother. We don't need to go into all the successes and failures because you know we're on the time limit. But I just want you to just take the time to speak to other single mothers out there and give hope. You know, share your failure, but then share the success that you have experienced as being a single mother.
For me, my failures, like I said, was one, trying so hard not to be my mom, and to overcompensate for his father not being here.
Right.
Because I can't be both. I can only just be the best mom I can be for him.
Say that again, because you hear so many mothers that say, I'm mama and daddy, and the reality, I mean, I get what they're saying, but the reality of it is you're just mom.
I can't. I'm just mom. And once I stopped trying to be both, I was able to relax. You know,
and you were able to really pour.
Yes.
That's and I'm saying that because I know y'all's journey.
Yes.
And I'm just like, the moment that awakening came, she could really give all of herself.
Yes.
That is so good. Man, I just want to hug y'all.
So yeah, that's what I had to just be the best me that I could be. God gave me my son for a reason. And he gave me my son. He is my angel, like you said. I used to be like, God, why a son? Like, I always thought I was gonna have a daughter. Like, that's what I had plans for.
Right.
Like, she's gonna be a little mini-me. Like, whenever I have a child, it's gonna be a little girl. But now more and more I'm realizing why I have a son. You know, son is, he changes generations. You know, he's gonna break the curses that he would never be a baby mom.
Come on.
You understand? He won't be a baby father. He won't be any of that. He's gonna be a husband. He's gonna be a father. And so my bloodline is gonna live through him. You know, because he's a seed bearer and a carrier. So I'm just like, God, thank you. So that's one thing I had to learn. Well, two, I'm never gonna be my mom, because there were some good things about her.
Right.
The way she had to be the way she was for me to be who I am today. Right. I'm stronger. I'm more resilient because of who she was. You know, and so I give my son, and I had to learn, I don't have to give him everything to be a good mom. Like you said, I was giving him to the point where he was like, oh, this is normal.
Right.
You know, I'm like, wait a minute, well, hold up. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't even have a car. You know, my car was in the shop, and he was like, Mama, we ain't gonna get this car fixed. I'm like, well, look, you ain't never been on the bus. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we got a ride. You can call Uber, you know, you blessed. But I was giving him so much to where he thought that was just normal. And I just wanted him to have more than what I had. So I had to learn to teach him, hold up, this mine. You know, when I bless you, but I don't have to. You get the bare minimum. So I stopped trying to overcompensate for his father not being there. And we just talk, and I'm just allowing him to develop the way God had him develop. And not question why his dad's not in his life, or, you know, he is, but not the way I want him to be. And that's something you have to say, I'm going to take my hands off of it. You know, I don't know what God's plan is. I don't know why. I wasn't raised with my father, you know, and now I'm starting to realize and understand why I wasn't. You know, and I'm at peace with that. And so whatever reason he's not in my son's life, that's between God. You know, I just can't control that. So I'm at peace with that. And as my son gets older, and because I'm not a drama, I don't talk about his father in a negative way at all. My son is growing up, and I'm praying that he's going to be at peace with that. You know, but those are the things that I had to learn. You are who you are. You know, because once I stopped fighting to not be my mom, it freed me. Because the more I fought against it, the more I was becoming her. And that was the craziest thing. And I was treating him wrong. Like
Yeah.
I was treating him, trying my best not to be her. I was treating him
Yeah.
bad. And so once I let that go and just accepted who I am and just I had to love me first. No, seriously. You know, you think, oh, I love my son without my heart. But because I wasn't as whole as I thought I was, I wasn't giving him everything that I could have.
Yeah.
So once God started working on me, I was able to love my child even more. You know, to the point where I had to just forgive myself again because I'm like, did I miss out on some years? You know, I was working, you know, trying to give him everything. So I was working 2 jobs, you know, I'm just doing this and that. I'm like, I missed a kind of little chunk. And I was in school just trying to hustle so he would never go without.
Yeah.
But I missed a little chunk of his life, you know. And I'm trying to scramble for videos and stuff because I'm like, I was working so hard trying to give him everything to where I didn't give him me.
Working hard so he wouldn't go without.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he was going without.
He was going without me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now I'm like, buddy, it's me and you.
Yeah.
And we rocking together. And he's becoming a man. He's 15, and we just learning 15. And I always share with my son, you are my first child. You didn't come with a manual. You know, I'm learning you, you learning me. We gonna learn together. So let's be a little compassionate. Let's communicate. But I have to remind him, you didn't come with a manual, kid. You growing and changing. I'm growing and changing.
Right.
So we're gonna have to constantly learn and communicate with each other. So that's one thing I want to share.
Yeah.
You know, be honest with your child. Parent, we don't know. We don't have it all. We didn't, you know, he didn't, when you know, the doctor brought me, here's your baby, he didn't come with a manual.
Right.
I didn't, like you asked us, do you have expectation? I just wanted a healthy baby, you know, I just didn't, I didn't know past that. And so every day, it's been something new.
Yeah.
You know, and it's been a gift, it's been a pleasure. I found someone that I can travel with. He's my little travel buddy. My son and I.
Baby, that passport is.
Yes, honey.
Between they 2 kids, I'm telling you, between this, Alana and they put my passport to shame.
Yes.
I be like, first of all, can y'all adopt me?
Yes, we got to, like, I had never been to Disney World, Universal, like all of these fun kid places. I got to enjoy it with my son, but it was like my first time, so I was excited, you know. So these were the fun things that I was able to do. Like I'm a cartoon lover, so of course I'm like, you want to go see that cartoon? Come on, you know. So it's the fun things that I get to experience with him that I didn't get to experience when I was little. So now I'm like reliving my childhood and enjoying it with my son
in a healthy way.
In a healthy way, and we have, you know, no regrets. We have no hang-ups. We just who we are, you know. Unapologetic. So
for me, I can say one of the things, don't be so hard on yourself. I cried so many times and said I failed.
Yeah.
I failed. I chose this. You're living, you're being punished for my mistakes. Because when you sit there and you look, and it's nothing like seeing your child cry over something that you can't fix.
Yeah.
You know, or seeing your child's heart broken because they're sitting waiting in the window for something that's not coming. You know, and you're waiting for that relationship to develop, and it develops later on. You know, and then it's trying to make up for lost time or something else, and the damage is done, and you can't fix it. And you can't help but to say, I did that because I made that decision, and that was a guilt that I carried for a long time because I was like, you're paying for my mistakes, and I guilted myself forever and a day for that, and it took me saying that if you could go back and do it again, would you? And I would, because that meant I would be changing something in her if I changed it. And one of the main things I never did was down talk her daddy in front of her. You know, because when you down talk the person who is the other half of them, then you talking about them. And that's the main thing. They're already dealing with the fact, why does somebody not want me? Now my mama's saying this about me too. You're putting more into that child that didn't have to be there.
And honestly, it's a reflection of you. I remember I read a quote by Common, and he said his father told him, you know, don't ever degrade a woman that you lay with. He said, because the moment you lay with her, you become her equal.
Ooh, that's good.
And you read that? And so, but yeah, that's what he always said. And so it's like when you degrade or talk bad, about the child's father, you're really talking about yourself
because you chose.
That's what you chose.
That's what you chose.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. That's who you chose. And at that time, that's who I chose. I didn't see anything wrong with that, but my main thing, and how you say, I feel like I didn't talk about him, and then it was there too where you say you kind of overcompensate, on certain things where I just like, I had to get this, but one thing I did do was to keep her humble.
Yeah.
I like to volunteer for the homeless. I like doing different things like that. There's many times I remind my daughter all the time, your mama check away from these streets. Yeah. It wasn't until maybe 3 years ago before we were living on our own. I was living with my sister, living with my mom, different things like that because I just couldn't afford it. But at the same time, she never knew I couldn't afford that. To her as a child, they're just excited.
Right.
And I just made sure you didn't know your mom was broke. It was times when I wouldn't eat, but she kept eating.
Right.
Because I did not want to change what we did. And I would just say, no, baby, mama all right, whatever, mama's starving. But my baby didn't have to know that. Right. So there's a lot of things that she didn't know that we did not have because that wasn't her burden. That was mine. Right. To carry. And it was the main thing where she did see, okay, her mom's pushing, but we're going to volunteer at this homeless shelter because I want you to know it's by the grace of God that this is what we have because that's the only reason why we're here is because He's showing us favor.
That's right.
And that's what I teach her, and I thank God that she's just grateful for whatever. Yeah. You get a gift that maybe act like, oh, you gave her the world. And I'm just like, I thank God for that because it made it easier on me not to feel like I failed again. Right. Because I could not provide her with what I really wanted to, but she was grateful just to get something. Yeah. And a lot of times where I think we fail as parents is that we try to give them monetary things versus them just wanting you. Yeah. And that's the main thing. They just want your time. Yeah. They just want to be with you. And even that parent that's absent, when you get them or when you allow them to go there, it's not the money they want. They just want you. Yeah. Right. That's it. You can't be replaced. And that's all they want is your time. So one thing that I say that me and my daughter do that we've done since she was younger and Zanya's been able to participate in some of these our Friday night date nights. Yeah. So I know I work during the week, it's homework during the week, we work during the week, this, whatever else. Well, Friday, it's Friday date night. And that's because though she too young to be dating because she's 12. So it's there. Yeah. But I want to show her what healthy dating is. Yeah. So it's me taking her on a date and saying, okay, where do you want to go? You get to choose. What do you want to do today? Everything else. And I talk to her and I explain to her, okay, this is how a man should be treating you. Yeah. This is what you have here. This is what we're going to do. Never walk out without money in your pocket because I don't want to be able to hold this over your head. Right. Everything else. And one thing that I didn't have was an open relationship. With my mom. I come from a 2-parent household, but I did not have an open relationship with my mom where it was comfortable for me to talk to her about sex, about anything, in a sense. So for me, my relationship is very open with my daughter. I will tell her the truth, that's there. And I even tell her, hey, when you get older, this may happen. If you get out somewhere and and you think you're going to get in trouble, I need you to call me. Yes, be ready for whatever consequences, but I'm not about to get on to you because one decision can change your life. Yeah. And that could mean I won't have an Alana anymore. Yeah. Because you can either be locked up or dead. Yeah. When all you had to do was give me a call and you come home, you might be grounded, whatever else, but you alive and you have another day to live. So I make sure to leave that door open, for her and just allow her to have the opportunity to talk to me and keep things real. And that's the main thing. And just the only thing I want to say is just don't down talk the other parent in front of the child. Yeah. You don't want to do that. All right.
Dee I just want to say, just see God on being a parent. Because like she said before, kids don't come with a manual. And a lot of times we were raised by broken people.
Right. It's good.
A lot of stuff that we are, our parenting ways, we pick up from our parents. Yeah. And it's damaging. So I to this day still God, show me how to be the best mom that you want me to be. Because as I grow older and I learn things about healthy relationships, I know that the way I was raised and some of the things and the traditional ways of raising children was not appropriate. It was not conducive to me growing up being a healthy adult. Right. So continue to seek God and ask God to order your steps with being a parent, and also forgive yourself. You know, if you're a single parent, it didn't work out with the other parent, you have to forgive yourself for your mistakes. Sometimes we harbor anger because you look at yourself as a failure. Oh, I believe this, I feel for that, and now I'm pregnant, or I got this baby. Forgive yourself. You know, you're not the only one in it. People go before you and fail to come back to give to you their nuggets, their golden nuggets, to help you move forward and be successful. Forgive yourself and also forgive the other person, the other parent. Because let me tell you, that could be one reason why you feel as a parent, if you're harboring any type of ill feelings towards that person, either because the relationship didn't work out, they moved on, or whatever. You have to accept the fact that this just wasn't God planned for you and him or her to be together. And you made a mistake, so you have to take some accountability there as well. I had to look at myself and say, you knew that fornication was wrong. You knew that, having sex with this man out of wedlock and getting pregnant, and you knew the things that could come along with it. So some of the things that I had to endure as being a single parent was because of my mistake, because of what I decided to do. So accept that, and once you accept it and forgive yourself and know that God forgave you, that's all that matters. Right. He forgave me. Mm-hmm. He gave you another chance. Mm-hmm. So now you got this child, pick all that up, let it go, get your forgiveness, forgive that parent, and move on. So you can give to your child, because if you're harboring those feelings towards that parent, you're going to take it out on the child. Because that's that person's child, and you look at this child and you see this person in this child. So forgive and let go, and ask God to order your steps with being a parent, because it's hard raising another child to be an adult. Mm-hmm. My son's 15, and for a long time I believed I didn't need his daddy. Well, you ain't around me, who needs you? But he needs a man now. Yeah. He's growing a mustache now. Mm-hmm. He came to me, when he started growing pubic hair, and I'm like, Mama, look at this. And I'm like, why he needs a man, but he ain't there. But I still have to see God and be like, God, you gotta help me with this, because I don't know. I'm not a man. I don't know how to talk to him. Mm-hmm. And he will send people. He will send tools, and he sent me a video on how to talk to your kids about sex and puberty and growing up. So,
That's good.
I think just listening to all of you, I can sum it up in something that Dee Dee said, and that was to pray and ask God, how do I parent this child?
Yes.
Because, parenting, there's not one way to do it. Right? And so we adopt practices from the way we were raised, and cultural ways that we were raised, and what we feel like works, and we listen to other people, and you get advice and things like that. But at the end of the day, the Creator who created you created them. Yes. And He trusted you. Yes, He did. Entrusted you with His gift. You get what I'm saying? When He thought of all of your children, Adolphus, Christian, Alana, He was like, I'm trusting you with my gift, just like He trusted Mary with Jesus. And He called her favored. He called her favored. And so I think the biggest thing to help any mother who is watching, to get on their knees and grasp that notion of prayer and say, Lord, teach me how to parent this child. Yes. Not according to my mom and them, not according to granny and them, not my co-worker, not my best friend, because this gift is different from any other gift. They're developed a different way. They were created a different way. Their parts and their tools are put together differently. Their manufacture is the same, but they're all created differently. So download into me and give me the wisdom, the patience, and everything, the knowledge that I need in order to be the best mother to this child and what I need to be in their life. And I believe that out of that come successes.
Yes.
You know, and overall, it is a successful way of parenting because you're getting your advice and your directions and your structure from the manufacturer himself. And so I heard Keisha earlier, she said, you know, I tell my son all the time, you didn't come with a manual. And the doctor didn't give you no manual, but God himself gives us a manual, and that's the word of God. And he gives us communication, and that's through prayer. And that's the best way, you know, that you're going to make it on this journey to motherhood. Like I said, I'm not a mother, but I've been on this journey with all of these women. And I was telling Dee before we started, I was like, I'm going to be quiet this episode because, you know, I ain't no mama. She was like, but you don't been there. And it is so true. And you really do feel the hurt, and you really do feel the pain and the joys and the laughter and the crying. And, you know, when they're broken, I'm broken. When I see their kids hurt, I'm hurt. When they mad, you know, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? But I'm so glad you ladies had this conversation, especially as godly women, because that's the reality of it. You know, we always want to say church fixes everything, but that's not true. That's not true. So I'm glad you guys shared your story. I pray you young ladies who are watching, who are mothers, if you're pregnant right now and you're like, you know what, I had all these false expectations on my life, on what I thought. I'm feeling like a failure. I feel ashamed. I feel guilty. I'm fearful. You know, I don't like the label baby mama. I'm becoming something I didn't want to be. All of that, throw all the labels and expectations out of the window. And just you pray and say, Lord, you show me the way I should take. And he is a God who orders your steps. He is a God who orders your steps. And you are not alone. And he has the Holy Spirit who would teach you all things. All things. And so trust, depend, and rely on him, and you will be okay. Ladies, thank y'all for sharing your story, for sharing your journey, your pain, your joy. These are the best baby mamas ever. Thank you all once again. Ladies, nice way to end it. Thank you all ladies again for joining us for our Girl Talk episode, you know, where we keep it real, we keep it raw, and most of all, we keep it classy. Next Friday, same time, we'll be right here, me and my girls discussing some real topics. So don't forget, it's ladies' night. Okay, whatever. Y'all have a good night, ladies. Be safe. Have a great weekend. Hey, keep it classy, all right? Love you. See you later. Oh, bye. I forgot to.
And I'm about to start.
Okay, bye, y'all.
I'll be back up before I count to 10. Get your minds, get your brains, let's do it. Get your body, get it up, now move it forward. We gotta keep it pushing. Flavor in my corner, so I gotta keep it pushing. Get your mind, get your brains, get your body, get it up, move it forward. We gotta keep it pushing. Mellow, day and night. I'm so blessed. I can move everybody part with no stress.